Well, second of the third, how dare you to translate the Bible like that? It's a terrible thing. Okay, something about of slaves and servants. Take your Bible, Acts chapter 4, verse 27. And whatever Bible you take, you might see that most of the Bible, we can say easily, they are slave Bibles. Do you have a slave Bible or servant Bible? For of a truth against thy holy child Jesus, whom thou hast anointed, both Herod and Pontius Pilate, with the Gentiles and the people of Israel, were gathered together. The objection the critics raise is that child should be servant. Child should be servant, and servant should be slave. If the truth be known, the critics insist that throughout the New Testament the word servant should be changed to slave. Slave occurs twice in the Bible, first with a reference to Israel in Jeremiah chapter 2 verse 14 and second in Revelation chapter 18 verse 13. In the context of the latter, slaves are listed as a merchandise bought and sold by Babylon. By contrast, the word servant occurs 980 times. Do you have in your Bible servant 980 times instead of slave? Yet to hear the Bible critics, every occurrence of servant should be changed to slave, even though in Greek as in English or any other language. There are two different words involved. Slave is soma, while servant is doulos. This fact alone should be enough to discredit the critics, but they continue to insist that doulos too should be translated as slave. This they do on the basis of an exaggerated claim of the extent of slavery in the ancient world. They believe that slavery was the rule at the time of Christ, and that employment and indentured servitude were the exceptions, but that had never been the case in any civilization. Is slavery scriptural? Many who are ignorant of the scriptures claim so, but the laws of Moses tell us differently. The closest thing that comes to slavery is the law of bondservants. We find that spelled out in Leviticus chapter 25 verses 44 to 55. There it states that people may indeed be bought and sold, usually because of indebtedness, and that Israel could take bondservants from the heathen about it. But those bondservants could only be bought from their families, or they could sell themselves. There is no provision made to allow for the sale of people taken against their will by force of arms. A human condition is laid out for the treatment of servants and bondservants alike, and for those taken in war. If a master insures his servant, the servant is to go free. This hardly qualifies to slavery. Likewise, in the New Testament, rules are spelled out for mutual respect and equitable treatment of master and servant. The relationship is one of employer and employee, under contract, yet equal before the Lord. If the critics have trouble seeing this in the Bible, then I would refer them to the English judge who in 1775 freed 14,000 slaves throughout England on the basis that slavery is so odious to law, that God doesn't support it. By law, he meant not just the English common law, but the law of Moses too. Thus slavery was banished from England on scriptural grounds, and yet Bible critics insist that the Bible is for slavery. Are they friends to grace? I trow not. Yes. Slave Bibles. And then many people can say that because in many Bibles reads this slavery and slave, that Christians are pro-slave, which is false. Old King James Bible 16:11 is correct again, and everything else is so deeply wrong. You can check 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 21. Compare it with your Bible. There is a point I can read the whole chapter. So. Art thou called being a servant? Care not for it, but if thou mayest be made free, use it rather. Use it rather. Many Bibles, the last words go like this, that stay where you are in your slavery or servant or something like this, and be a slave there. And many Christians have taken this wrong verse in their Bibles about this case. But it goes like, art thou called being a servant? Care not for it, but if thou mayest be made free, use it rather. Yeah, that's it. You can be a servant to Jesus Christ and his matters, or you can be a servant for sin. Which one you want to choose? Serving sin or serving Jesus Christ, God the Father, who will come judge everything? Who do you want to serve, to be a servant?